A desperate race to find survivors after a devastating earthquake in Morocco, becoming one of the deadliest that country has seen in decades. Right now, more than 2,600 people are dead. Thousands more are critically injured. A 6.8 magnitude earthquake struck the area Friday just southwest of Marrakesh. An earthquake of this magnitude has not been felt in that region since the 1960s, when 12,000 people died. Villages have been absolutely flattened, with some places digging through the rubble with bulldozers, hoping to find anyone trapped beneath all of that debris. Rescue teams from Spain, Britain, and Qatar are joining forces to help with those recovery efforts. So joining us now is Shamim Chowdhury, who is on the ground there in Morocco. Shamim, thank you so much for being with us. First, what is the latest there on the ground?
Well, rescue workers have been working round the clock for 3 days now, but they've had many challenges that they've had to deal with. One of the main challenges is that the worst hit areas are very remote and they're very mountainous, and at the best of times it's very difficult to reach them. Now, the earthquake, which was 6.8 magnitude, it was a shallow earthquake, around 18 or so kilometres deep. They are, we're told by experts, the most destructive. What that caused was a lot of the roads to be broken. There were rock fills, there were rubbles. So many of the rescue workers weren't able to access the worst hit areas. And we now understand that most of the rescuing was done by the residents themselves with their bare hands. They just didn't have the right equipment that they needed in order to remove large concrete blocks, to remove the rubble. These roads have since been fixed, and we know that rescue workers are working. The military has been deployed. Helicopters have been seen in the worst hit areas, distributing food and aid. And international rescuers have also, just in the past few days or so, joined in the rescue and the humanitarian effort. It is going ahead at full speed, but the first 72 hours after any earthquake strikes is the most critical period when most survivors can be pulled out. That 72 hours is about to end in about 3 hours or so. It doesn't necessarily mean that survivors will be found, but it means the chances become slimmer and slimmer. What's notable about this particular earthquake is that there's been no official statement about any survivors being pulled out of the rubble, although anecdotally we've been hearing that some have been. And that's for the reasons that I have just stated. Added to the fact that it's been extremely hot, dehydration is a problem, and just working in this kind of heat for anyone is a huge challenge.
Well, Shamim, do we know what's happening right now with the survivors, how resources are being distributed, because there's so many people who need help?
That's right. Well, the World Health Organization said that around 300,000 people in Morocco have been affected by this earthquake. We know that resources are scarce. Whether it's the people living in these remote areas, in these villages, or even people here in Marrakesh, they all need food, they all need shelter, they need basic supplies. What's happening here in Marrakesh is the death toll has been just over a dozen or so. But a lot of people, for the past few nights or so, have been living out on the streets, in some of the parks here, in some of the squares. And the reason for that is there's been more than 25 aftershocks. And we are being told there could be several more in the weeks, perhaps even months to come. Now, a lot of people here are really scared of going back into their homes because they fear that those homes may collapse in the aftershocks. And yet they are saying that nobody has given them any attention, nobody has provided them with any food, any shelter, and they are lacking basic facilities. We personally as a team, we haven't seen much aid being distributed. We've seen a few local cars giving out some bread and water, but nothing of any great substance. What I can tell you is this is a country that has really suffered a devastating catastrophe, and it is going to need a lot of help for many months to come.
Absolutely, yeah, absolute devastation there. Shamim Chowdhury, live on the ground for us in Morocco. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.